In this episode of Twin Flame Confessions, we're going to talk to Brad and Stacey, a twin flame couple, and they're going to share their twin flame signs and synchronicities throughout their twin flame journey. Hello, fellow flames. In case we haven't met, my name is Dr. Harmony, and I will help you live fearless, live loved, and live free. Today, in this Twin Flame Confession series, I have Brad and Stacey back with me for another episode to help share their story and the nitty-gritty of their relationship of having been married now for 17 years and how they've overcame struggles, challenges in order to be in reunion from a highest version of what I feel like is their union at this point in this whole journey. And let me start by saying they have been to hell and back. So you're going to want to make sure to follow their journey and have no prejudgment as to, oh, they got it easy. So stay tuned for this entire series. In today's episode, we're going to talk about their twin flame signs and synchronicities, their awakening, their awareness, and how they connected in such a way that has helped them each turn more of the energy on within themselves to have greater awakening and a higher kundalini connection and that telepathic connection. So thank you, Brad and Stacey, for sharing your journey with us today.
Thank you for having us.
You're so welcome. Let's get down to it from a he said, she said standpoint. And let's start with you, Brad, today on the twin flame signs and synchronicities. Will you share a little bit about your parallel path and then how different signs and synchronicities have showed up in the path to direct you towards this connection that you have with Stacey, and how you've also personally, maybe a lot of the divine feminine like to know, is that divine masculine really awakened, and do they really know this stuff? Are they really feeling this stuff? Like, are you feeling this connection? Are you seeing signs pointing you to things connected to Stacey? So let's hear from you directly to see what that feels like from a masculine standpoint.
Okay, well, first off, the very first thing is that her name and my wife's ex name is almost exactly the same. My ex was Stacey Lynette, and my wife's name now is Stacey Lynn. That was the very first thing that hit me as a whoa. Like, that's just really freaky how that came about. And then as we started to get to know each other and everything, come to find out that my mom and her mom both have the same name. They're both Carol. And my birthday is exactly the same day as her mom's birthday. It's really amazing how things just happen to work out that way. And even today, we still find out things 17 years in that we find out as synchronicities that we didn't ever even realize before. And it's a constant everyday thing where we find out more and more about each other as we go. And it's just, I think it's a wonderful thing. It's like opening a present every single day of your life and seeing what you're going to get.
Wow. How beautiful. I love that. That's a gift that keeps giving, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
The twin flame journey,
definitely.
So it's real. So when we talk about this journey of twin flames, you can testify that that's a real journey. When people question sometimes, is this real?
Yeah, we can literally tell you that, and we can literally connect to what they're saying. And there's days that I just want to pull my hair out, and he just wants to be like, get the hell away from me, because everything's so intense with us. There isn't a moment, even when we're sleeping, that it's not intense. And it's always up here. yes, we dip down into the lows, but the intensity, even of the lows, are intense. There's not like you get to fly by the medium. No. You go low, and we're going low, 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 low. So low, you don't even know how low you are anymore. And then who's pulling each other back out of the depths of hell? Who's going to save us? Who's going to save us? We have to literally come together at that moment and save each other. Because we're both going through it at the same time. We have not learned or don't understand if we're supposed to, but when we both go into a traumatic or get traumatized, or if we get triggered on something that had happened to us in our past or something that we're working through, we both go, there's no one up here.
So if one feels it,
there's no one
the other feels it, correct? So if one is feeling it, the other's feeling it, right? Okay.
Yes.
So can you just
intensify?
Okay. Well,
but it hasn't always been that way, though. Yeah, earlier in the relationship, it used to be when we weren't so much in sync. It used to be where one of us would get triggered and go into their trauma. The other one would be able to stay more positive and help them out of that trigger.
But see, that's because we were also raising our children. They were in the home. We both also knew that we weren't supposed to fight in front of our kids. We weren't supposed to be the low. See, he comes from a different background than I do. I come from one that was very abusive, and the family members were in front of you beating the hell out of each other. I mean, there was not a day that I didn't see blood, black and blue eyeballs, right there in front of your face. And that's something I did not want to do with our children. I wanted our children to know that, yes, we were having kind of a bit of a tiff, but you were never going to see us hurt each other. He came from a family where he was always sent to his room, and he wasn't allowed to see anything at all.
Fighting was always done behind the closed doors.
So he didn't want to segregate the kids from it either, but he didn't want to say, oh, here we are flamboyant beating the hell out of each other. So we literally kept a lot of everything that we were going through under wraps. So when they all, like we said, when all of our children moved out to go to college is when the realness of the twin flame dynamic actually jumped in.
How long were you together prior to that?
We've only been learning about this twin flame thing for 3 years now.
Okay. So you were already together about 14 years. Okay.
Yeah, about 14 years, yeah.
And then you woke up. Tell me and the audience a little bit about this wake up that happened. And because originally, just so everybody knows, they met when Stacey was in prison and created a connection, a bubble love, so to speak, there, and went through a journey there. But then once you got out of prison and you went on with your life as a married couple, then, like you said, you did everything backwards, and then you awakened to the journey after you were already together.
February 13th, 2016.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. Just the timeline. February of 2016 was like a lot happening energetically.
Yeah. And well, at that time, like we said, the kids had gone away and gone to college. We had moved. Brad's dad had passed away. And we were roommating basically at that time. We weren't really even close to each other at all. And I was grasping at straws trying to figure out how to save our marriage because he's the love of my life. And
did you ask yourself, how did that happen? Kind of like to grow apart the way you did, as close as you were?
Yeah. We didn't even understand that. We didn't understand it at all.
Yeah, it took us a while to figure out that while our kids were around, that all of our focus was on what everybody else in our life was doing and how we could take care of everybody else's problems. But as soon as everybody was gone, there was nobody left but just us.
Then came the mirrors.
Then we turned on each other, so to speak. And all that focus that we had outside now came inside. And the whole game changed right there. And neither one of us knew what was going on.
On the 23rd, on February 13th, he woke up 4 o'clock in the morning like he always does to his work. And he said, Stacey, I said, what? He said, I need you to investigate what the hell a flame means, and we're standing in the middle of it burning.
Yeah, I said I had a dream that both of us were standing in the middle of this huge flame, this fire, but we weren't burning up. I have no idea what that means.
The only thing I think of is the mishaps, Shadrach, Abednego in the Bible. I was like, we don't believe that way. How would that even jump into our lives? So, me being the savvy person I am, I'm all over YouTube. I'm all over everything you possibly think of. And I probably died that day with all of the information that you're flooded with on YouTube and the internet. Scared the living shit out of me. It really scared me bad. And I cried, and I almost committed suicide that day.
What were you scared of at that point? Were you scared that because of what's out there, were you afraid you weren't going to be together? Is that what happened?
I was afraid of my own stuff. I was afraid of him really knowing me.
Oh.
I've never kept anything from him. But once you become a twin flame, you really know them.
Yeah, you dive deeper and deeper. And that's a part of us that neither one of us had really opened up to.
We knew the surface. This is what happened. She's been raped. Well, she's been to this. She's lived. Her father was a pimp. I mean, he knew what you need to know on the surface for being married.
To really dive into that feeling of it.
The emotional parts to heal
the
that.
Emotional.
Yeah,
that was a whole different game changer there.
Which has to wake up to the awareness, to come through, to feel things, to see them, to revisit them, to release them, right?
Right,
yeah.
Right, yes.
And then to connect that to that karmic purge that happens in that awakening, that you don't unawaken once you come to this enlightenment of awareness. You have to go within.
And to find out that, and to realize that he's not doing it to you. I'm not doing it to him. We are doing it through them for the benefit of us, to get rid of it so we can help humanity. That in itself is probably the hardest spoonful of sugar tartness I've ever had to take in my life. And I believed a totally different way as I was growing up. I knew I was different. I knew that the things were in my life were different. I knew I was meant to be here for a purpose, and then I've already died 7 times by this time. And there was a reason I was here, for a reason, and I just didn't know this reason was going to be deep, And I'm sorry, I'm crying because it's just
apologize.
There's the eye opening of it now, and the looking back now of everything that we've been through, and just when the cloud finally clears and the smoke clears and you're laying there raw as you could possibly be, stripped naked as you possibly be, everything laying, they know everything. Is he standing there still?
Yeah, literally having to lay yourself wide open, raw, there, and wondering if your partner's still going to be there or running away screaming.
Yeah.
He was there, though.
Yeah. Now, did you guys experience the runner-chaser dynamic of the typical?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in its own segment. That way people can get a really good inside look of what that means. But can you share with the audience, like once you became awakened and aware to, say, like things happening like dreams and showing you that you were a flame and that you guys in that flame were basically purifying each other, basically, and then all of that come up, what kind of how did you navigate certain signs and synchronicities to be able to manage your individual journeys, but yet your union of the flow of what was happening between the two of you?
Well, we didn't really do that. We actually did it all together.
Which then did it reverse, right? So it was almost like your flow together sent you back to yourselves still, which is what most people do, right?
Right.
asking if when you had to work on things individually, you did it with the other one at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We didn't. It's okay. So you know how you say you go there and you do yours. You go. That didn't happen with us. Like I said, I've had a lot of opportunities to be in a lot of therapy classes and see a lot of things where people drop down into their negative spot, or they turn into that if they got dissociation problems, when they turn into the child that they're going into. I have that foresight of being able to see that. Not only that, but I am also an empath. So for me to be able to feel what's going to happen, I can literally tell you what's going to happen that day, and it'll happen. And it's not because I'm making it happen. It's because I've already seen it, and I already know what's going to happen. So he now is coming in to find out that he is also an empath. So we both are empaths, and so we're both high oak empaths trying to realize that the mirror has to happen between us, and it has to go between us for us both to do it together so we can heal it the right way. Because if either one of us tried to step out to go do something over here, it comes back to us wrong. It comes back to us not healed.
So basically, you don't get to escape that, no matter what.
Thank you.
Yes.
Not at all.
There's no escaping what comes up must be healed or seen and then healed. But the only way you can heal is to see it, right?
Yes, ma'am. Normal human beings don't understand the dependency that we have on each other. Mm-hmm. This is a dependent relationship, not a codependent, because there's no co in this at all. We are
like an interdependent, right?
Thank you. Yes. Yes. We are totally dependent, 125% on each other at every given moment. I move, he moves. He moves, I move. We are literally synchronicity. Everything it's crazy. It's there.
And I just want to share with the audience, they will not want to miss your reunion video section of this. Is going to share your dark journey as that reunion and the marriage side of that, because we're going to hear some raw, real things about the actual day-to-day operations of how you've managed and things you're going through and currently going through.
Yes.
So two questions I still kind of want to ask here from the masculine standpoint. Did the spiritual woo-woo waking up to like this being an empath and seeing things, knowing things, having dreams, did that freak you out a little bit? Because a lot of the divine masculine tend to not want to be as connected as the divine feminine do from a perspective of awakening to that spiritual connection they have with themselves.
Well, not me personally. I actually liked getting more connected into it, the more feeling I could get into it. Because, as a kid being sent to my room all the time and not being able to interact with people when there was fighting going on and all that kind of stuff. The only person I really got to interact with the most was with myself. And so that's when I got the chance to have that door open to interact more with the energy, my wife, on a deeper level. It was kind of scary at first, but I really wanted to get out into it because I had been, basically locked up in my own head for so long that I was screaming to get out, screaming for somebody to hear me.
It scared me more than it did him.
I was picking up on that. I could feel that because I think you probably were more the runner than he was, that we'll talk about in that section. So I could see with you being the runner, being the more scared one. So let's hear from your point of view then.
Well, mine was like, why do you want to know that? What are you doing over there? Get out of that. What are you doing? Because he kept on telling me, I want to be deeper with you. I want to be deeper with you. And, I'm taking it from a little
how much deeper can we be, right?
I'm like, okay, wait. when we have sex, you're deep, okay? You cut my arm off, you're really deep. I mean, how much more deeper do you want to be, right? When he really wanted to know exactly. I mean, and you think about it now, and it's like, wow. He needed to know, and still needs to know, how my cosmetic makeup is, per se, how I work inside, how I tick, how everything moves. And he needed to know that, I think, because he needed to know that I was real. And he needed to know that I wasn't actually going to go somewhere and leave him because he was going to open up. And he had nobody in his life that he has ever opened up to. And it scared him that way. And he needed to know exactly what I was about on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And which was my feelings, my thoughts, my mind, how it worked, why I was the way I was. And so I said, okay, fine. And I literally did a segment where I would let him come inside my mind and see what I see, feel what I feel.
Mm-hmm. How did that work? Like, and let's talk about that for a second with that telepathy connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you share with the audience what that's like, what it feels like, and how you both feel that?
Well, at first it feels kind of tickly because you literally can feel. I mean, as a twin flame, first off, you can feel them, you can hear them, you can smell them if you're deep with them. You can taste everything they taste. I mean, there are twin flames out there that literally can feel the other twin being pregnant, the other twin being impregnated. You know, so all that's real, and it was all right there. And he literally went through my whole entire life, and had felt when I was being molested, felt like when I first got married to my first husband, all that. Because
I can see that being very clearing for you, and him helping to accelerate your healing process by him being a part of knowing and feeling all of that for you, extracting and purifying and cleansing you of those things, right?
Yes.
Now, how did you manage that, Brad, without taking it internal and, you know, from an empath's point of view of feeling it so deep that it became painful? Did you do it that way, or were you able to transmute it? Or did you even know what you were doing? Because if you know what you're doing intentionally, you can transmute and transform that energy versus internalizing it and feeling it to those depths.
I don't think it was so much I knew exactly what I was doing.
Right. And you don't have to, because that's the beauty about this journey. It's like we just navigate it in a way that the soul knows what to do, and we follow it without knowing what we're doing most of the time. And honestly, just so you guys know, the least people understand and know about their journey and their wake up of their commitments to that and the twin flame concept, the much better chances they have of being in a reunion, because of the fact of the labels and the limitations and the beliefs and the projections of once people really, you know, you got a really deep rooted connection prior to your awakening, which has allowed you to manage through it and navigate through it on a different, deeper level. Had you had your awakening back then, it would have been, you couldn't have handled that much intensity of what was happening.
Yeah, we agree with you. Yes. We totally agree with you. And that's yeah, he just got to say that to me. Yeah. We are both totally grateful that we actually got to know each other as a husband and wife. And that's what we say. We were our karmic relationship. Mm-hmm. So we literally feel like our karmic relationship and that contract had to end before we could step into the twin flame contract.
Wow.
And that happened, we feel, on the 13th of February when he woke up.
I experienced that too on two levels. Just so you know, like I had a dynamic that it totally changed in a new concept, and then that also changed again. So like it just it's a totally break apart the old patterns, the old karma, role reversing individually and reharmonizing in the new way.
Oh,
yes.
On a daily.
Oh, yeah.
On a daily. We could switch on a daily.
We could switch back and forth minute to minute.
I mean, all the time. All the time. I feel like I'm asking. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? And he's over here crying. I'm like, why are you being just a sissy?
Yeah, role reversal like crazy.
Big time.
Yeah, I was going to add a little bit more into what we were saying there. That as I was getting to want to go deeper, knowing her, because I just had the urge. I had to know what made her tick, and I guess without really realizing what I had done is I literally put myself in the role of being her perpetrator,
Mm.
and I took her all the way back through all of her trauma.
Wow.
And that was not easy, not even a little bit.
We're live.
I mean, if definitely a word to some of the other twin flames out there. If you don't think that you're strong enough to take on the role of being her perpetrator or his perpetrator, then you might want to slow down a little bit and get to know yourself more first.
Mm. Oh,
Because
wow.
if you don't, and you jump into that head over heels without having any idea what you're doing, you're going to hurt yourself. I don't mean physically, I mean mentally. You'll rip your psyche to shreds because you literally have to jump into her perpetrator spot and live out that role for her to find out exactly what she's feeling or went through at that time.
Mm.
And I didn't realize that's what I was really doing, and it almost ripped me to shreds. There was times there I didn't think I was going to make it mentally. I literally felt like I was going to jump off the edge of the psyche cliff.
Did you guys realize you didn't at the time probably, but do you now realize you were doing karmic clearing for the collective from a standpoint of all the karma and the purge?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that at the moment.
We do now.
We know now.
Right.
But I did not know at the moment.
Briefly share that here, because that is like that grid work on karmic clearing and collective clearing in these synchronicities and signs that people are seeing. They're showing that it's the relationship, when all reality that those signs and synchronicities are pointing you to do your work and your inner clearing. And until you surrender to that,
oh yeah,
you cannot,
definitely.
The relationship cannot be what it technically is meant to be. And going through this process of doing that from a collective standpoint, that is a part of the agreement, the joint agreement that says you came here to jointly, collectively clear and cleanse these traumas for the collective universal timelines. So just briefly, and then we'll close out this segment, tell us a little bit about how you're awakening to understanding that you were clearing this collectively and it wasn't just about your individual selves.
I think for me, it probably wasn't until last month that I understood that I was doing, or that I was even in that kind of an agreement. I did not see. I guess we did not. We don't know. For those twin flames out there that have the opportunity to analyze, try to understand everything that goes on in a twin flame connection, please do your homework and please listen to who's done the grid work or what it even is. Please understand and what they mean by you're doing it for the collective, and truly understand what it is. Because when I was standing there in my moment of dying, the only thing I could say to myself was, I'm not doing shit for fucking nobody. Leave me alone. Because I couldn't handle it. It was so deep and everything was just running through me. And he said I literally looked like I was a light bulb lit up. And every person that I've ever been traumatized sexually was running through my body.
Mm-hmm.
I did not understand any of this at all. I did not understand that grid work for the collective is that deep. I didn't understand that you were clearing for everybody. It's beautiful now. It's beautiful to know this.
That pain is used for a purpose, right?
Right. I was so scared. I didn't know anything. And I literally thought I was crazy. Now I know I'm not. I wasn't. And it's a very, very good thing. And there's only a lot of us that can actually handle that much pain. It's clear. I was there for that purpose. I was made for a purpose for that. And that is honorable. It's so awesome.
Did you awaken, either of you, to past life clearing in this process that we also do?
Oh,
14 years of past life.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Just when you think you're done clearing one, you think, "Oh, good, that's it, things are starting to calm down a little bit," and all of a sudden you get flipped over and you start all over again
in a matter of seconds.
Yeah,
you're clearing up to 14 lifetimes in the past of reincarnation. All now.
Yeah. And like you said, Dr. Harmony, there's not a slowdown. It's a rapid, intensely. It's intense. I mean, take the biggest, fastest roller coaster in the world and amplify it by 1,000,000.
Yeah. What I explain to people on this is you're going through this emotional high and low, that you're coming into this vortex of basically coming into alignment with yourself and your destiny, but you start in this vortex coming through this whirlpool, that as you come closer to the inside, it's like this, right? But if that were on a seismic graph and you were out here when you first enter this awakening and awareness and what you're kind of doing, it's these emotional highs and lows that kind of take forever, take a lot of processing, take a lot of integration, and your highs and lows are like really like ramps, really. But when you get in here, it's like this. And so what I tell people is you need to learn in this process how to surf and find the balance in that. And what that really you're surfing is the balance between your resistance and your surrender to this process. And, it's what we fear that we find. And if we can surrender to this process and allow ourselves to basically feel, awaken, connect to, integrate with that in such a way that we don't run from it, then we will come on through it faster and we'll clear it faster and we move faster through the process.
You're right. You're very right.
How and
you literally have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't fight the process. It's like trying to going down the river versus swimming upstream, kind of. And when you're fighting that going upstream, you're going to be towed under, right? And it's very, very deep. I want to share 2 different resources about this topic I think will be very good for people. I have 2 different ebooks that are free. One, and I'll put the links below. One is about the soul contracts and agreements, about completing your checklist that talks about those clearing karmic debts and vows, and clearing the collective clearing that we're doing, that we took on for the collective, that we can release that karma and know that it's part of our joint mission. And people don't realize that their individual part of this is a joint mission and they're doing this grid work. So I also have an ebook about the science behind twin flame telepathy and constant communication, and how the 2 of you all of us are wired in such an energetic way that keeps that communication going nonstop, and also how that creates us as an antenna where we connect to the heavens, to the earth, and become an anchor of all this energy into the grid plane, which is raising the vibration of the planet Earth, and then the collective cosmic energy, as well as we move to one heart, as we move forward in this universal language of unconditional love. And so I have those resources that you guys can find below. And Brad and Stacey also have their own YouTube channel. We'll let them share their handle, so you guys, and we'll have links below so you can get connected with them outside of here and learn more about their journey and what they are sharing. So you want to share that handle with them and how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, our channel is Dark Twin Flames. That's all one word all together, all in lowercase.
And on there, it's not child friendly, so please be warned. We do use the F-bomb a lot, and please be prepared to have the truth, because we do not sugarcoat anything. We have to tell you the God's honest truth because we feel that we're obligated to.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the only way to do it. Open, raw, real, and authentic. That's the journey. So we want to thank all of you for watching today. Please make sure to watch the other segments. We have an entire breakdown of some really great segments of their entire journey. So give this video a thumbs up and make sure to like, comment, share the shine, and may you always face your fears, find freedom, glow forward on fire. We'll see you in the next video of our Twin Flame Confession series. Have a great day.